The July jobs report just dropped. Here's what you need to know. All right, the July 2025 jobs report is here and it's making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Let's break it down together, fact by fact, figure by figure, and really understand what's going on in the American labor market right now. First up, the top line number, 73,000 jobs added. That's it, just 73,000. The US economy added 73,000 non-farm payroll jobs in July. That might sound like a lot, but for an economy of this size, it's not. Economists were predicting something closer to 100,000 or even 115,000. So this came in way under expectations. And when you zoom in on where those jobs are coming from, things start to look even shakier. Almost all of that growth came from one place: healthcare and social assistance. Out of the 73,000 total, about 55,000 came from healthcare. Another 18,000 came from social assistance. That's roughly 100% of all net job gains. If you remove healthcare and social assistance from the equation, the US would have actually lost jobs in July. And this isn't new. It's been this way for months. Month after month, healthcare is doing all the heavy lifting. In fact, if you look at the 6-month chart of sector-by-sector job changes, most industries are flat or down. The only lines shooting up: healthcare and education. So what's going on in the rest of the economy? Flat or worse, manufacturing stagnant, business services losing jobs, construction not moving, professional and technical services down. Even retail is treading water. The private sector overall has now seen 3 straight months of basically no growth. And that's before we even talk about revisions. And yes, there were major downward revisions. The Bureau of Labor Statistics went back and revised job numbers for May and June. Combined, they cut 258,000 jobs off the books. That means 2 months that were originally reported as decent are now showing significant weakness. It also means that, had we known then what we know now, the labour market would have looked even worse. And government jobs? They're shrinking too. Federal employment fell by 12,000 jobs in July. That might sound like a small slice, but it's part of a larger pattern. The Trump administration has been pushing hard to cut back government size, especially departments like education, which reportedly saw a 50% reduction in staff. These cuts are showing up in the jobs report. Now let's talk recession risk. Markets are starting to take notice. Prediction markets are putting the odds of a US recession in the near term at around 15 to 20%. That's not sound the alarm territory yet, but it's up from just a few months ago. And when you combine it with slowing private sector growth and heavy reliance on healthcare jobs, it starts to look more worrying. Here's why this all matters. The job market is a lagging indicator. It tells us what's already happened, not what's coming next. But when the only thing keeping overall employment afloat is healthcare, it's a sign that the rest of the economy is on shaky ground. And remember, healthcare is a largely recession-proof sector. It tends to grow even when everything else slows down. So if that's the only engine still running, the car isn't exactly in great shape. Let's look forward. What's coming? If hiring in healthcare slows even a little, we could start seeing actual net job losses nationwide. With AI accelerating and automation becoming more widespread, entire professions are already being disrupted. Jobs in law, accounting, customer service, even parts of healthcare, they're all being reshaped. And that makes it harder to predict where the next wave of growth will come from. We're entering a period of massive transformation. The job market is not going to look like it used to. There will be new kinds of jobs, some we haven't even thought of yet. But the transition will be painful. That's why we're seeing people say things like, don't rack up university debt right now unless you're sure it leads to a future-proof role. Focus on trades, on skills, on things AI can't replace, like welding, building, and yes, even empathetic human connection. Bottom line, The July 2025 jobs report shows weak job creation, overdependence on the healthcare sector, and big downward revisions that reveal hidden cracks. Combine that with falling government employment and increasing recession odds, and it paints a picture of a labour market under strain. So don't just look at the headline number, look at what's underneath it, and keep your eyes open, because the next 6 to 12 months could redefine the American workforce. In summary, July's job report, 73,000 jobs added, mostly healthcare, down revisions to May and June of 258,000 jobs, government cuts showing up, other sectors flat or shrinking, recession risk rising, the job market is losing momentum. Stay tuned and subscribe for more breakdowns like this, because the numbers may be dry, but what they mean could change everything.